Here's what's for dinner tonight, coming from Glow's Kindred Kitchen. It's cast iron skillet chicken with mashed potatoes and gravy and coleslaw. All these recipes are on Glow's Kindred Kitchen, and you can check them out and try this yourself. It's really delicious. We've had it before, but it is really good, and you will love it. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Hi, welcome to Glow's Kindred Kitchen, and I'm Glow. Tonight I'm going to be making some fried chicken on the stove in a cast iron pan, and I would like to show you how I do it. So let's get busy and start cooking. The first thing that I do when I cook this particular type of chicken tonight, I soak my chicken in buttermilk. But before I do that, I salt and pepper it on both sides and let it set for about 15-20 minutes, and then I put it in buttermilk, about a cup of buttermilk, and I let that marinate for at least an hour. And then I take it out of that buttermilk and let it drain on a wire type pan and like a cooling rack, and let that buttermilk kind of drain off, which I did, and now I put it on this plate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put it in my white flour, and I have some cornstarch in here, salt and pepper, paprika, and a little sage. And I have my cast iron pan heating up now, and I'm going to go ahead and add the oil. You'll probably see it shimmering because the pan's pretty warm. And butter. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my first piece of chicken, and I mixed up this flour and cornstarch mixture with the seasonings real well before we started this. And I'm just going to get it going on, the flour and mixture on it on all sides. And what we're cooking tonight are all thighs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move this over, and I'm going to turn up my heat. I had it set at about a 4, but the pan was getting pretty hot before we started, so I turned it down to low, but now I'm going to bring it back up. I just didn't want the butter and stuff to burn before I got the chicken in there. So here we go with number 2.
Brought that heat back up to a 4, Miss Fox?
I did.
That's cool.
And I usually cook this at like I'll start it off at 4, and I'll probably bring it down to about a 3 or 2. My burners tend to run a little hot, so. Every stove is different, so you just do what you think is best for your stove. Sometimes I buy a whole chicken and cut it up and do it. This is what I had on hand, so. And I put the smaller one there in the middle. This one is larger, so that's going to go over here on the side, so things aren't so crowded. By doing this on the stove too, in the summertime, that way you don't have to heat up your oven, because heating your your oven for a long length of time, like cooking chicken, will make your house pretty warm.
Let's keep it cool, Miss Glow.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to turn this up to a 5 to get it going good, and then we'll turn it down. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cook for a good 7 to 10 minutes. When the juices start to rise in it, and you see a lot of the redness of the juices come into the top, that's when I know that I need to turn it. And with this particular type of cooking, I will be cooking with a lid on it, after I turn my chicken pieces over. And I forgot to mention, I always place my fried chicken skin side down to start with. So when I flip it, it will already be brown. So we'll be back with you in anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes. Thank you. Well, hello, and welcome back. Well, the chicken's been cooking here 10 to 12 minutes. And one of the pieces was taking longer than the others to brown nicely, so that's why I let it go a little bit longer. The goal for before you flip it is to make sure your chicken is nice and brown on the first side. You see how nicely these are browning? The juices are starting to rise to the top.
Looks good, Miss Glow. Smells good too.
And we're not cooking in a lot of fat here. There was 1 tablespoon of butter and about a tablespoon at the max of canola oil. So there we go. Doesn't that look pretty?
Looks good to me.
So now what we're going to do is I'm going to turn this down and let it cook for about 20 to 25 minutes. And I have my cast iron lid that goes actually to my Dutch oven, but I use it fits perfect on this cast iron frying pan. I'm just going to cover it and let it go. And so it's kind of like smothered, you know, and it's steaming as it's cooking. It's going to become very tender. So we'll see you back in about 20 minutes. Bye. Hi, welcome back. I'm going to take the lid off of our chicken now. And it's been simmering here for about a half an hour. I got busy with stuff, but with this recipe you can do that and walk away from it for a little bit. It's been on low this whole time. I'm going to put this lid over here to get it out of the way. And we're going to take the chicken out of the pan. Now mind you, when we started off, we only had at the most a tablespoon of canola oil and 1 tablespoon of butter. So I only flipped these the 1 time. They're not really brown on the back side. Oh, it smells so good.
Yes, it does.
But these drippings are going to make the best gravy to go along with this. See how nice that looks? So here's our chicken. And it'll be very, very tender.
Looks really good.
So I'm going to go ahead and put this down right here. Well, let's see, where should I set that? So I'm going to put it over here. So it's out of the way. And now we're going to make the gravy. So I'm going to go ahead and stir this up. And by doing it the way I did it, you can see that the never even really stuck to the bottom of the pan at all. It was kind of almost like steamed or smothered in there, and those drippings are the juice from the chicken. So, and when I did my flour, I put that in a pie plate. I find that a pie plate works really well for flouring my meats when I'm cooking, keeps it all together, and helps me to not make a big mess. So I'm going to turn up the heat now on my pan, and I'm going to add some of this flour that we dredged the chicken in to the pan. My mother used to make the best chicken like this in gravy. And this is pretty much her recipe. And she made chicken many ways, but this was one of our favorites, that and oven fried chicken. And sometime I'll make that for you guys too. It's really good and easy.
How much of that did you put in the frying pan, Miss Foster? Miss Glow?
It was probably about 4 of these spoonfuls, maybe a little
4
bit.
tablespoons? Okay.
Yeah. I cook so much by sight. I should have counted that out as I was doing it, but I would say like 4.
Okay.
And now what I'm doing is I'm just stirring this up, and I'm going to allow this flour in here to brown, because you don't want that floury taste in your gravy. And one of my cousins, Eileen, actually had commented on another video I had done of chicken. It was roasted chicken with gravy. And she had mentioned that she uses Bisquick sometimes for the thickening instead of just flour or cornstarch. And I thought that was a great idea. So guess I'll have to buy some Bisquick. I don't have any on hand, but I will definitely try that. So thank you for that tip, Eileen. I appreciate that. And Eileen's mom, my Aunt Annie Jo, she's a very good cook too. I used to really enjoy going to their house and having her cook for us. Her canned beef was like the best. She would can beef every year. They lived on a farm, and I just remember how good that was. She's a very good cook. Well, it's a good thing we decided to do this fried chicken today instead of barbecuing like I thought about earlier today, because it's pouring rain right now. That wouldn't have been fun.
You can hear it on the roof.
Well, I think that has browned enough. So what I did is I made whipped potatoes for dinner tonight. And so when I drained my potatoes to whip them, I saved the potato water. And I'm going to add that to this, as well as the remainder of the milk from doing up the potatoes. And I'm sure I'll probably need to add some more milk to it. But here we go. I'm going to do the potato water first. And by doing this, we get a lot of the nutrients from the potatoes in it. And it really adds flavor too. But this is going to be very good anyway from this chicken. You just do it slowly so that it all blends and combines together. And if you remember, the flour mixture actually had a little cornstarch in it as well, so we have two thickening agents going on here for this gravy. I'm going to go ahead and continue with this, and I'll be back in a few minutes after I get it all combined, and I'll show you the finished product. Bye. Hi, well our gravy is done. It took about 5 minutes since you were last with me, and you can tell how nice and creamy that is. And I'm going to taste it. It smells really good.
Super creamy, Miss Glow.
No lumps. I don't like lumpy gravy. Oh.
Are you in heaven, Miss Glow?
It's delicious.
Okay, good.
So anyway, I'm going to do up a plate and show you the finished dish with the chicken and the mashed potatoes and the gravy. We'll be back in a few minutes. Bye. Hi. Well, here's the plate of food that I just made, And I wanted to talk to you about the chicken. The reason why I soaked that in buttermilk is it really helps tenderize the chicken. So if you were wanting to bake this or something, you could easily, soak it in the buttermilk as well. And it also adds flavor. But the way I cooked it today, I really did not need to do that with the lid on, because the lid helps tenderize the chicken as well. But I had the buttermilk on hand, so I decided to do that. But the gravy is delicious. And the coleslaw, I had done up a video a while back on coleslaw. The one I did have carrots in it, but the dressing is exactly the same. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this today, and we're getting ready to eat. I wish you were here to have dinner with us. Bye.